Ready? We're going to get started with the agenda portion of the meeting tonight, which will be followed by the public portion. Excuse me. We have minutes from January 18th. We have ordinances on second reading, O-01120, ordinance amendment supplement. Revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Chapter 10.12, traffic control.
And there will not be an amendment. But there's an amendment to the resolution.
Okay. It's for one loading zone on New Street. O-01120, as amended by resolution O-01120-2-1. An ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of, the City of New Brunswick. It's for taxi stands.
That's the one
That I don't need, okay. O-01120-3, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick. Traffic and parking, delete and add handicap parking zones and add parking space. Delete one residential handicap parking zone, 5 Freeman Street. Add one residential handicap parking zone at 5 Freeman. These are different placard numbers. And add one residential parking space at 104 Redmond Street. O-01120-4, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick. Department of Police, this is for the auxiliary police. We have ordinances on first reading. O-021201, an ordinance amending ordinance number O-127802, fixing salaries and wages of various employees represented by the Municipal Employees Association, repealing ordinances or parts of ordinances inconsistent therewith. For 2011, 12, 13, and 14, part of collective bargaining agreement.
Mr. Racine, you've already approved the execution of the bargaining agreement, but this ordinance establishes our ability to pay the employees the salaries that are in the attachment.
O-021202 is being held at the request of the city attorney. We have resolutions R-021201, approve agenda amendment. 02, approve payroll from January 7th through January 20th. 03, approve restaurant license applications. 04, authorize refund of redeemed tax sale certificates. We have a few reorganization matters. 05, authorize professional service agreement for Bridgewater Veterinary Hospital for veterinarian services for Jameson and Odin, the police canines for 2012. Terms January 1st to December 31st, 2012, being done non-pro-tum, and not to exceed $2,893.86. 06, award a professional service agreement with U.S. Health Works Medical Group in New Jersey for the 2012 physician services, not to exceed $28,500. Term is January 1st to December 31st, 2012. Again, this is non-pro-tum. 07, award professional service agreement. Bicknell Planning Consultants, review of site plans and subdivisions planning review. January 1st through December 31st, 2012. 08, award professional service agreement with Delaware Raritan Engineering for review of site plans and subdivisions engineering review. The term is January 1st through December 31st, 2012. That ends the reorganization matter. 09, authorized lease of copy machine for the Department of Public Works for 48 months from Icon Office Solutions. 1 Rico Officio copy machine, $103.50 per month. 10, approved change order number 9 to Helios Construction, in addition to the Henry Guest House for the New Brunswick Free Public Library. Constructed drywall partition with wood cap above the chairlift entry door, and closed door opening with half-inch drywall at top of existing stairs. Not to exceed $1,383. 11, approved change order number 10 to Helios Construction, another addition to the Henry Guest House for the new Free Public Library. Installation of steel liner and 35-foot high masonry chimney to accommodate the venting of the water heater. Not to exceed $3,240. 12, amend Resolution R-121049 with Elevon, formerly known as Nova Information Systems, an additional $2,532.97 to pay final bills for 2011 from $45,000 to $47,532.97. This increase is not over 20% of the original contract. 13, approved purchase by Police Department under state contract from Micro Strategies, 40 hours of block time for network support, not to exceed $6,600. 14, approved change order number 2 to Orchid Holding for upgrade sidewalk intersections to federal ADA standards plus additional traffic control costs, not to exceed $5,713. The increase is not over 20% of the original contract. 15, approve amendment of R-111139, additional rehabilitation work at 10 Curtis Place. This is not to exceed $1,100. Again, this is not over, the increase is not over 20% of the original contract. 16, authorize release of performance guarantee and balance of site inspection fees to 132 French, that's company 4, 132 French Street. The amount is $38,230. 17, approve award of contract with Crossroads Construction Corporation, Saddam Street Road improvements, not to exceed $279,945. 18, approve request for street closure and relaxation of noise ordinance, requested by Industrial Cooling Corporation for crane placement at 410 George Street. Street closure Albany Street between George and Easton Avenue. The date is Saturday, February 18th. Alternate dates February 25th and March 3rd from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. 19, approve appointment of C. Judson Hamlin, Esquire of Keefe and Bartels for hearing officer for review of internal affairs, not to exceed $12,500. 20, approve amendment of Resolution R-031148 to pay additional legal fees in the amount of $1,079.50 to Lawrence Bitterman for representation of Patrolman Gary Yurkovich in the matter of Candell versus the City of Brunswick, from $5,560.50 to $6,640. 21, approve amendment of Resolution R-111106 to pay additional legal fees in the amount of $884 to Stephen Altman, Esquire, representation of Police Officer James Feaster in the matter of Michael Boswell versus the City of New Brunswick, Police Department and Patrolman James Feaster, from $12,588.50 to $13,472.50. 22, approve, award of contract to John Duffy Fuel Company for furnish and delivery of diesel fuel for public works, not to exceed $240,000. 23, authorize establishment of petty cash accounts for various departments. 24, approve emergency temporary appropriations for 2012. 25, approve amendment of Resolution R-101117. The reason is for an additional $16,143.70 to replace back stairway used for emergency repair of sewer line at 172 Seaman Street with B&W Construction in New Jersey from $33,733.86 to $49,877.56. 26, approve request for partial street closure and sidewalk for Hoffman Pavilion demolition, requested by Birdsall Services between Nielsen and John Street, beginning the week of February 1st, which is today, 2012, and the time is 27, resolution authorizing endorsement of insurance check for Lona Brown, 69 South Ward Street. 28, approve renewal of contract with Maxor Plus Limited for a prescription plan, March 1st, 2012 through February 28th, 2013, not to exceed $2,615,166. 29, approve appointment of local emergency management council from 2011 through 2012. 30, approve request for city property requested by the Malcolm Bernard HBCU College Fair Bugalo Park and Pavilion for a walk, run, and fundraiser to benefit educational and scholarship programs, Saturday, May 19th, from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. 31, authorizing the Brunswick Planning Board to review and make recommendations on redevelopment plan for Block 448. Where is that, Block 448? Just,
That's the former Go-Tech building on East
okay,
Avenue.
sorry. 32, this is for that conveyance of city property. We don't need this,
Right.
so it will be pulled or held or...
Yeah, you get rid of the resolution, and when we get around to having everything in order, it'll be an ordinance.
33, adopt resolution to legislature for amendment of police residency statute requirement. 34, approve amendment of R-011260, reason to correct language for site plan inspection. 35, authorize tax collector to transfer overpayments on several tax, water, and sewer accounts. 36, approve amendment of resolution 111110. CFO requests resolution be approved in 2012 and not 2011. Renewal of interlocal agreement with Middlesex County. Provision of public health services January 1st, 2012 through December 31st, 2012. The amount is $218,811.42. 37, approve amendment of resolution R-011270. Reason is a correction of award of contract for potassium
Permanganate.
Thank you. Approve award of contract for 12 months with Carmuse Line, General Chemical Corporation, Univar USA, George S. Coyne Chemical, and Mark Jenny Specialty Chemicals for furnish and delivery of chemicals for bulk feed facilities, February 1st, 2012 to January 31st, 2013, from $760,434 to $733,614. 38, approve, authorize extension of water supply agreement with the Borough of Milltown, January 1st, 2011 to December 31st, 2020.
Mr. Racine, while this renewal is up for negotiation, I'm currently in negotiation with Milltown. This is not ready for action.
Okay, so hold that.
Yes.
And that's it on resolutions. Any additions?
No, sir.
We have two items we have up for discussion tonight. One, we had some continuing problems and complaints about outside, inside, around the establishment of Giovanelli's on Easton Avenue.
There are representatives of the business here tonight. I don't know whether they're with council, or whether they're just here on their own. Mr. Shanley has spoken to them, we're prepared to make a presentation, and then we determine to do so.
All right, we're going to do this a little later, once we get started. But we had some, we're going to do a public hearing similar to what we've done for liquor licenses. So we'll get to that in a bit. And then we also have a parade ordinance.
Yeah, we're not ready to move on that at this point in time. Our parade ordinance has not been updated in a long, long time. It needs updating, and it needs spinning out, if you will, First Amendment marches and parades from regular parades. Mr. Shanley's working on it. He's got a very good first or second draft. We'll have that before you shortly, and we'll talk about it in more detail now.
Okay.
And it's detailed and it's important because of the First Amendment implications.
We'll do the Giovanelli's as our agenda says under public hearing, so it'll be before we get into the excuse me. The meeting is going to now come to order. The public meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Cook is absent. Councilmember Egan.
Here.
Councilmember Escobar. Here. Councilmember Garlotti. Here. Council President Racine.
Here. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act have been complied with and satisfied in the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice. The time and place and conduct of all public meetings in municipal council of the city of New Brunswick has been filled with the city clerk and placed on the appropriate bulletin board of the lobby of City Hall and has been transmitted to the official newspaper of the city of New Brunswick. time for all those that have lost their lives in the conflicts in the Middle East. Thank you. We have minutes from January 18, 2012.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Hussein.
Aye. At this time, public hearing, we're going to do this hearing now concerning Giovanelli's. Mr. Shannon?
Yes, Mr. Council President, members of the council, members of the public. As the council is aware, we've had some residents in and about the area of Giovanelli's appear at prior council meetings complaining of quality of life issues in and about that particular area. At the council's direction, the city administration put together a little ad hoc committee whereby we studied the issues that occur in and about the Easton Avenue corridor, and specifically that particular intersection as well, Easton and Conduct. That committee consisted of, among other people, Detective DeBonis, who's here today to present the findings of his investigation regarding calls for service, incident reports arising in and about that particular area, as well as the entire Easton Avenue corridor. What I'd like to do, with the council's permission, is have Detective DeBonis come up and explain the results of his investigation and research.
Detective?
Yes, I was requested to do a calls for service analysis of the Eastern Avenue corridor. We went back 2 years, January 1st, 2010 to December 31st, 2011. We found that there were 4,075 calls on the Eastern Avenue corridor. What we did was we blocked these calls starting at Little Albany and Easton, being an intersection. That would be one area. And then Little Albany going up to Somerset would be another area, then the intersection, so on and so forth. So we blocked it, structured all the way down Easton Avenue to the Parker home. We found that there were numerous quality of life calls. An area that came up with a high number of calls was Easton and Conduct, came up with 565 calls. When we analyzed those calls, we realized that from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., there were 219 calls at Easton and Conduct. From 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., 195 calls. This number of calls is very high compared to the other intersections which are adjacent to Easton and Conduct. For example, Easton and Somerset had 340 total calls. Like I said, Easton and Conduct 565. 319 for Easton and Hamilton compared to the 565. Out of those 565 calls for service, 220 of them were quality of life violations. Compared to Easton and Hamilton, 87 quality of life, 95 calls for Easton and Somerset quality of life. To take it one step further, because we realized that there was a problem in this area, we analyzed Conduct Street from Easton Avenue to Hardenberg Street and found that there were 91 calls over this 2-year period of time. Out of those 91 calls, 70 of them were quality of life issues. Now, quality of life issues consist of assaults, burglaries, disorderly persons, disorderly conduct, suspicious person, theft, weapons, damage to property, disturbances, harassment, several others. Something that wouldn't be a quality of life call would be like a motor vehicle stop, something to that effect, or a report call. Let's just say there was a barking dog call. Well, actually, no, that would be a quality of life issue. Let's just say there was just a generic report call. That would not fall under a quality of life issue. Based on this analysis, we believe that a lot of this problem relates to Giovanelli's, not just the intersection of Easton and Conduct. It seems that patrons in these particular times visit Giovanelli's, like I've shown, between 10 and 2, 2 and 6. There are numerous people congregating to try to enter the establishment and are just loitering around the establishment. In the past, we've had officers assigned in this area to try to combat the quality of life issues in the area. We've also had our mobile precinct in that area, but sometimes we have to put those resources elsewhere depending on the particular evening and or the particular problems in the city. So we believe that the Giovanelli's establishment operating as it is now does create a problem in that area, and it definitely adversely affects the quality of life for the residents in the area.
Yes, as Detective DeBonis's report illustrates, I mean, there obviously are other calls for service along the Easton Avenue corridor, but this particular intersection where this particular establishment is located has risen to our attention as a result of the volume. And in connection with that, and in an effort, obviously, to work with the business proprietors in that area, specifically Giovanelli's, Detective DeBonis, at the request of the committee, did reach out to the owners of the establishment, and they are here today. I spoke with them prior to the meeting, and in fairness to them, they expressed to me some of the measures that they've taken to try to combat the problem and the issue in that particular area. And I think they would like to address the council as well. As the council is aware, we had visited this area and these issues a few years ago, and I believe it had gotten better for a period of time. And recently, obviously, it has escalated and caused more cause for concern. So I don't know if it's Mr. Habib, I believe, who's in the back, who'd probably like to address the council if you'd like to hear from him now. Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Senator. I will take it from there after Mr. TK Sherry says that if you go back before year 2010, you're going to see a lot of improvements with this area, especially my store. I have a security. I complied with Mr. DeBonis when he approached me last year or the year before. I hired security in my store in this particular hours, regulating the customer goes inside my store. Since then, I have no problem at all. But I have a point. I see that he always mentioned juvenile. It's not the only store open in this hour in this area. And we sell food, not drugs, not liquor. So I have no control for people coming from outside drunk. I protect my store inside the store.
How often do you have security there, Mr.?
I have it for almost more than a year now.
How many nights a week?
I'm sorry?
How many nights a week?
I have it 2 nights. That's the most problem with the approach, the weekend.
Friday and Saturday nights?
Exactly. Other than that, the area is quiet, nothing else.
What about Thursday night? That's a very busy battle.
There's no crowd there. And if it's necessary to hire him on Thursday, I will.
I'm sorry, no, I was going to ask Mr. Lee, how late is his establishment open? And I think, how late are you open on the weekends, sir?
Around 2:33.
I'm sorry. Would you be inclined to hiring a off-duty police officer from New Brunswick?
I could discuss this with Michael DeBonis.
That would be, I think,
But
a great start.
I could discuss it with him.
And we also think, and I talked to Detective DeBonis about this myself, we also are going to increase our police presence there, outside on the streets, just not.
Say, I just want to approach a point. It's not my problem that other people coming from different area causing a problem in the street. You know, if Mr. Michael sees that I have a line outside, I let them get in my store to follow the regulation like the capacity. What else I could do? And there is other stores open even after me. They still open late after I close. I didn't see their name mentioned as juvenile.
The reason why, sir, your store, I'm just understanding this, is because it's that area. You have a great location there. That intersection of Condit and Easton Avenue is where all the activity is.
I do understand.
I understand that you're right. It could be cotton roll, it could be clucky chicken, it can be stuff in your face. I understand that, but every time they get a call from the police report I read, and what Detective DeBonis has brought back to us, it focuses on that corner right there.
Exactly.
That's why we need to do something.
For example,
the store that's there.
For example, last week was a big problem in Clucky Chicken across the street. What could I do with this? Why only my name had mentioned? The other store next to me has biting the music, you know, like
Sir,
left and right. Nobody mentioned his name.
We certainly acknowledge that there's other restaurants with problems just like your area. But if you heard the numbers that Detective DeBonis gave you, that we just heard tonight, It's at the corner of
I
Congress.
respect it, I
and
respect
I know they're coming from the.
I respect
ball
his
there.
numbers.
But it's your location that's.
I respect his numbers here, but what if about somebody is after me and making these calls?
We have, sir, we have people that live in that area, residents of that area, they're the ones who brought up your name and established, residents from the area.
That's what, that my point is, how do I know that these people, they're not after me to help my business?
Well,
They make this phone
from
calls.
pure number-
The other guy next door,
Just from the pure number of calls, of complaints, I don't think that's any one person.
I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying all of them, but what I see is only my name has mentioned in this whole issue.
You're right, and that's.
And I have the other one is blasting the music left and right in his store. I haven't seen his name mentioned.
So
It's
we're
not
not,
only one, others.
we're not trying to hurt your business. We're trying to help your business.
I do understand, and
We're
that's
trying
what
to
I want
help
to
your
convert it
business.
to.
We don't want a fatality or something going wrong down. We need to have a presence of police and protection down here because
I appreciate
of
it.
all the calls that he just told you, 565 quality of life calls. And it's at your location.
When do you expect to meet with Detective DeBonis?
As soon as you could, like maybe tonight.
Could you do it if we take a break in this hearing?
We're gonna work it out. We're gonna see, I'm gonna listen to him to see what, I'm gonna see what he's gonna say and we'll talk together.
I don't know, Council President, if anyone else from the public, any residents want to speak regarding this matter before we.
Yeah, just hang on. Yes, ma'am, name and address, please.
Judith Karanowski, 5 Conning Street. I'm probably a couple hundred of those calls. I'm not trying to put you out of business, but in reference to what Officer DeBonis, Detective DeBonis was saying, there were, within the past year and a half, 3 shootings, literally in front of my house. We're owner occupied. We're there all the time. It says, oh, it's only certain times, or it's things that happen. It's those Thursday might be more quiet, he says, because the college kids are out and they don't congregate. They either go to the grease truck, they go home, they do their thing. Friday night, Saturday night. That's when everybody, I kept, the last couple meetings, people I work with who are younger than me, who they all tell me they're from Woodbridge Avenue, far away. They say they go downtown New Brunswick, and everybody knows that Giovanelli's is the place to go to eat. It's open past 3 o'clock.
Thank you for saying
I
to eat.
live.
Thank you for saying to
It's
eat.
to eat because it's the only place that's open. It's past 3 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock. I take my dog out 3 o'clock in the morning. My husband goes to work early. 3:30, 4. That light is still on, open. So that's not true. Security where? Like 3 shootings, everything that happens on that corner, I live there, I look out my window, I have a perfect view. And I see what goes on. People go there because, to eat, but that's all the drunks, everybody, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, everybody knows that's the only place open in New Brunswick where you can go 3 o'clock in the morning drunk. I'm not saying that they're drinking there, but that's where they're congregating because they know they can. I mean, if they closed, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, lights out, shut, gone, finished, then people aren't gonna hang there. There's another little restaurant on my street that again opened up kind of abruptly, and it's set back, which initially we thought would be a problem. We were sure if they closed at a certain hour, we have no problem there. And we thought it would be a problem. But this is constant, this is not just the pastures. I've lived in that house, in my street. My family's been there 50 years. So I know everything that goes on. I've seen the changes. And this thing trying not to, it's not my fault, it is your fault. You gotta
Changing to
close.
bed or go?
Sorry.
It makes no kind of sense. 3 shootings, which Detective DeBonis didn't even bring up. I know the little quiet. I've seen the police come. I've seen them surrounded. I've seen the problems. I've seen them cursed up and down. And they take off, and they have to come back with more people because I myself wouldn't get out. And then you do something where you can't really defend yourself. There's not much you can do. I hear the comments. I'm standing there in the window. I'm watching it. I'm on the phone with the police like, you better get someone here because there's a problem. I mean, what are the police even supposed to do? Like, understand the mobile units, I've seen them, which are a big help, and I said they don't have to be there all the time, randomly, just so that nobody knows when. Let them show up, they're a huge deterrent. I mean, I don't understand the security. I have not seen security. If there's security, then where? Just inside the store to protect the cooks? I mean, where is the security? I don't understand. I'm not saying he's a bad general or a liar, but everything he's saying, I've not seen any of it, and I live there, and I watch it every single weekend. And like I said, it went from little noise, little things to shootings. And like you said, if there's fatality, the city's going to be held accountable. Because I've been coming here for years. I mean, why can they not be closed at 2 o'clock or 3 like everything else? And other stores that are open, next door is a convenience store open 24 hours, which in my entire life living there always used to close by 9 o'clock and then the latest 11. Now all of a sudden we got these 24-hour establishments. So who's allowing this to go through? I mean, he's just following the rules. If he's allowed the ordinance, the resolution, if it's allowed, he's gonna do it. And I'm not blaming him, but I mean, really, I mean, where does his freedom end and ours begin? Or are we allowed to sleep at night? I mean, really, I understand he has to run a business. We're not trying to put him out of business. I mean, what's fair here? Can't they not be closed?
Yes, there's no, at present, there's no restriction on the hours of operation. There could be, and that may be in the future with respect to this, but he's not violating the law by being open.
Open past 3 o'clock, well, then how is this ever going to be resolved if it's not a problem?
We hope this is the first step of having Mr. Beeben here. We're talking about him maybe hiring somebody, an off-duty officer. If he doesn't agree to that, or if that doesn't work, there are certainly other steps that can be taken.
Okay, but what is one off-duty officer going to do with 50, 60 people, drunks, congregating on that corner? What is one person going to do? Nothing.
He's going to get on the air if he's got a problem and call him back.
But by the time backup gets there, it's a problem. What is one person going to do? I've seen the mobs. I mean, you don't understand. I live there. I'm going to put a video. I'm going to have to videotape this for you to understand how ridiculous this is. I mean, I would not be coming. I've lived there my entire life, and I'm coming now because it's a little out of hand. I mean, why do I have to hear shoot? I've never heard a gunshot in my life until the past year and a half. 3 shootings within 100 feet of my house. Why? I didn't even see anything in the paper until a couple days, and some of them I didn't even read in the paper. I don't understand how it's not a problem to anybody because nobody else here lives on the street, but I do. So this is a problem. I'm going to come to every meeting and keep going on and on. I've been there for 40 years, my family, and we will continue to be there. And this makes no sense. How could that? There would be no problem with this.
Mr. Habib, do you have any videotape of what goes on in or about the business?
Inside, yes.
What about outside? Oh, the inside's not the problem, it's the
I
outside.
have a camera for outside too.
Do you have it for,
Yes.
for how far
I could record
outside?
it for them. Can I have a comment on what you just said? I appreciate what you complain, your inconvenience. I do understand inconvenience, but don't blame me for any problem happening in the street. What if somebody follows somebody from different area and come in the street and commit any crime? Do I get the blame for it as a business owner?
If your place
And
is
now
open and that's where they're going.
you denying that I have no security. How do you know that I do not have security?
How could 60 people
All right.
be on the street
We're
fighting
not
for
gonna
security?
have you guys go back and forth during this meeting.
How do you
I'm
know that
sorry,
I have
I don't want to go
security?
back and forth.
So you're blaming me for something
She
happening
made-
I'm not
outside?
blaming you, I'm not blaming
She made
anybody.
her point of what she sees
I
outside.
appreciate and I really understand her, where
The
she's
police
coming.
call have identified this particular intersection as having a problem, is where your store is. Mr. Eaton has suggested, and you talked to Detective DeBonis about hiring an off-duty police officer as a first step, and understand it's a first step.
But that still doesn't believe her. She says, what's it gonna do? Like, it's not the solution.
Maybe a deterrent of a police officer in uniform will do something. If not, then we'll move on to some other steps, and if we have to, we will.
Plus we talked about more police presence down there.
On the outside.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Right?
That helps a lot too, like I've mentioned before, when you see the police just kind of drive around and, just not, I'm not asking for special, like I'm not trying to put the guy out of business, and I'm not asking for special treatment. Just like if it's obvious it's a problem spot, so it's like, where there's smoke, there's fire, we can do something just to nip in the bud a little. But there has to be a happy medium, and also
We also talked about the police have a mobile police.
That helps.
Mobile unit called the Foxtrot, right?
Yes, sir.
And we asked them to park the thing there, right out there, and have it
It's
parked
been
there.
there
And
before, it
police-
helps.
We asked them to, we also asked the police to take a look at having cops out walking around, making the police presence walking around at certain times during the night out there too. We agree that a more police presence at this time is a good starting point. And like the
Yes,
city
it is.
attorney said, if that doesn't work out, then we will look at measuring and closing the whole corridor down at 3 a.m. or sometime.
like I said,
That would be a good
I'm
plan.
fine.
Go ahead.
No, I said I'm fine to work with that, but as long as, it's serious. It's not just like, you're just saying it just to kind of try to, the longer you stall something, it tends to go away. As long as, I understand, I really do. And I know you have these meetings, everybody has you can get my phone number. I wish someone can consult us, just, we don't have to be any private meetings, but just, so we can just know what's going on. Because like I said, we're trying to coexist. We understand we're not trying to take anyone's livelihood. But then someone's life is also worth something as well. So, And like I said,
This is gonna be enacted, this is all gonna be put in writing,
mhm.
and all legal, voted on and everything else. This is not a,
No, I understand that.
this is not a fluff over, act at all.
The only reason I say that is because I've been coming here for quite some time, and this is the first time that something's happening, so that's why I'm hoping, and, I mean, I'm gonna give it a chance. Like I said, we've been there our entire life, I'm not trying to, stir the pot here, but it's kind of like, what else do you do?
Mr. Amir, you seem to like the idea of the 3 o'clock closing, and if everybody was required to close at 3 o'clock, so that you weren't at any competitive disadvantage, that's something you...
That's only me or everybody else? Everybody? We could talk about this.
You're going to talk to Boston DeMoss, so we'll go to the meeting.
And what about if, as Mr. Michael statistic that he says the peak hours from 1 to 3, why can he put like 2 cars on these hours, like to focus on these 2 hours?
We requested that they increase the police presence, the hours.
You know, if somebody wants to do any problem and see the cops around there, I'm sure they would think.
Yeah, the hours will be determined by the police department, but he identified from about 10 p.m. to 2 p.m. to be the peak time, and then from 2 a.m. And then 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. is also pretty high, and that's the hours. So basically, between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. is when the majority, clear majority.
If you're gonna close me like 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, you're not solving the problem, excuse me, because there's still other stores open there, and you're gonna have the same
We
problem.
did say that Mr. Hampton asked if all the stores were closed on East Avenue, so you were not at a competitive disadvantage, would you be in favor of that?
I cannot answer right now because.
For you, not for
me,
me, but for you. If everybody else closed at 3, you're okay?
Then we have to talk together, everybody on the avenue. We see like it's equal for everybody, why not?
So what we have recommended, our first step would be, and I know you're going to talk to detective bonuses to hire an off-duty Brunswick police officer at the store, and see what happens. We're also having requested the police to increase the patrol, not every day, she said, maybe randomly, so people don't know, maybe have some foot patrols and having a box truck in the area, if not right in front of the store, then up the block or down the block, so it's a
Yeah, we
visible
feel a lot,
area.
we help a lot.
And if this doesn't work, or if something else has to happen, then we're
But,
going to discuss closing times.
I just have a point that every meeting, and it's been going for for a while, that they focusing on only juvenile. I don't know why she is, her or somebody else, only juvenile. In the meantime, you have all the stores is open the same hours, even after us in Eastern Avenue.
Again,
And there's a lot of changes happening in my store is around the area since 2 years ago, since I have the security. And I follow the rules of the capacity in my stores. What else can I do?
we understand that we're going with
It's a food business, and this is the only 2 hours or 3 hours I make all my business. If you go right now in my store, man, you don't like what I'm saying, you can see my store right now,
Sir,
I see your
sir.
how I'm gonna pay my
Sir.
bills.
We are going strictly by these numbers. There was a complaint made, we had to check these calls out, and it's clear that there's a problem here at this intersection. Now, I understand that you're not the only store that's open, but we have to take a first step, and this is the first step. So I hope you work with us. It'd be much better if you do work with us.
I have no problem.
I think we're going to bring it back at the end of the meeting.
I just have one question. I'm a little confused. Originally, you said he closed at 2:30, and then he was concerned about possibly closing at 3. Which time are we talking about? And we would have the officers, which day of the week? If he closes at 2:30, and theoretically,
3 o'clock, we start to be like, it's not every time.
I'm just going by what you said. So what hours would we suggest, and what days of the week?
I think I can go by these numbers where the prime calls are coming in.
I would suggest Friday and Saturday between the hours of 10 p.m. to 3 a.m., if that's what time he stays open till.
Understood.
For the extra work duty. And I would also I talked about increasing the police presence, but I also know that the police have the whole city to take care of, it's just not that area. So that's why we're trying to have a constant police presence, with Giovanelli's having somebody there, and then have our police presence when we can, as long as there's not something chaotic going on the other side of the Brunswick.
Detective, what I would ask is that if and when these get implemented, you track some of the, with the call volume is at this location to see if it doesn't make a difference.
Yes, sir.
Determine
Make
it.
one comment.
Yes.
In reference to the volume of calls too, I mean, as the weather gets warmer, it's also very busy over the summer, so and the call volume is throughout the year, but then it gets really extremely concentrated as the weather gets warmer and warmer. So it would be maybe 200 through the winter, but then all of a sudden it's crazy, it's like the Wild West, so, I mean, like I said.
Yeah, these numbers were spread over a 2-year period, so
Well,
it wasn't just, the last few months or anything.
Detective,
Yes, ma'am.
on Thursdays, do you remember how many calls were there? Because I know Thursdays, that's where all the college kids go out at night. Do you have any idea how many calls were on
I
Thursdays?
don't have specific data
Of Thursday?
isolating that particular day, I apologize. There were numerous things I wanted to cover, I could have covered that, but,
Okay, because that would be, because just in case we need to call and then have the patrol, off duty on Thursday, if we need to add it, it would be nice to know just in case. That's it.
Understood.
Yes, your name and address, please?
Keith Jones, 56 Middle Avenue. Just a quick suggestion on the whole thing. Police presence, just a car. Doesn't have to even be anybody in the car. At these specific times, there's a car that's sitting still on Jersey Avenue, right across from the, where they get gas at. And that car slows people down immediately. The car's been sitting there for weeks. But it's a presence. If you have the presence, nobody is going to, it will deter some people. Him having to hire an off-duty cop is kind of taking a little more money out of his pocket. At the same time, if you're trying to, close them down, or not close them down, but close them certain hours from stopping them from making money, I don't feel that's, the right way of going about it either. Now, with the calls as well, G. Benelli's is a New Brunswick landmark. So if you, I've lived here all my life, I've eaten there at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So when you talking to your friends, where you at? Instead of saying I'm on Easton and Conway, I'm at G. Benelli's. So any altercation goes down, where's this altercation? In front of G. Benelli's. That's the name. Nobody uses Easton Avenue. Nobody says Convict. They say G. Benelli's. They could be going to Thomas Sweets, but they're saying we're at G. Benelli's. So that can add to that call volume. Yes, it's a popular place. Rutgers goes there, New Brunswick goes there. You have people come from out of town that goes there. But yes, and it's one of the only places that sells food, good food, not expensive food at that hour. Now, I totally agree with her that she has problems going on, and those problems should be stopped. But I think the police presence is the only way that, the situation will be taken care of, instead of him having to hire security for inside and outside. If there's no fights inside the store, that's something different. But if the fights are on the street and on her street, then, that's really not his problem.
He's running a business, he has a responsibility for the neighborhood he's located in as well.
Yes, yeah, I understand that. But his crutch is the fact that the store is famous.
Oh.
And if that's a crutch, then what do you want the man to do?
We need to address this, so we're going to start. What is it, and then resolve these. Mr. Brennan?
Charles Randall, Harvard Street. I have to sort of agree with Mr. Jones in a sense, because I think that I'm rather astounded to see that there are 4,075 calls in that immediate area. And roughly 1/8 or 12% of them may occur at Giovanelli's. But I wonder if Giovanelli's was the only store that was open, would there be 4,000 calls? Would there be even 565 calls? I think the area as a whole attracts students after hours, and I think it's kind of a little bit unfair for the council to look to Giovanelli's to take the sole responsibility of paying for an off-duty police officer for any time, because that gets very expensive. What is the hourly rate?
The hourly rate is, the straight rate during the weekday is $57 an hour. There's admin fee added to that and vehicle fee, which goes to the city, and there's an adjustment for a weekend rate. I can make sure you get a copy of the rates if you'd like.
Well, I suspect it's well over $100 an hour.
That's very possible, depending on when you add the admin fee and the vehicle fee. That's accurate.
So if you're talking about 6 hours a night, 3 nights a week, you're talking about at least
$1,800 a week expense on one store, which to a small business owner, I don't care how popular they are, it's a lot of money. I'm just suggesting that I think the council should address the problem on a larger scale perhaps. If they're going to be requiring an expense out of pocket for one business owner, that the other business owners ought to share in it.
There's nothing to prevent us from doing that on a cooperative basis.
I understand, except right now, the pressure is on this gentleman here tonight to meet with Mr. DeBonis, Officer DeBonis, and come back to you at the end of the meeting. And the suggestion was made quite reasonably by Councilman Egan that an off-duty police officer be considered, but he's the only one here. So if he says no, is he being unfair, or is he just saying it should be spread out?
Just to give us his answer, that's all.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, first of all, my life is worth more than $1,800, so I really don't care about that part of it. And secondly, Giovanelli's initially was never open that way. When it first opened up, it was open breakfast. High school kids from St. Peter's, it was open, would be there for breakfast, lunch, and by a certain hour, 10, 11, closed. When did this whole thing shift that it's, oh, all of a sudden it's like we're stepping on someone's rights to be open until 3? And like the gentleman said, everybody knows Giovanelli's. People don't go to Thomas Sweets at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, we're going to Thomas Sweets, meet me at Giovanelli's. I mean, he just proved exactly what I'm saying. Everybody knows. And yeah, he is responsible, like you said. If all the drunks and everybody that is coming there to eat, and they are drunks because I've seen them, and they're congregating, they're eating, now they're outside on the street, so whose responsibility? Now I'm supposed to go out there and fight with the guy who's on my house? I mean, this is, I'm telling you the truth.
I believe you.
I mean, I understand, but I just don't understand. This is not personal to him, but like this gentleman here said, Giovanelli's, it's not this landmark. It was open initially to a certain hour when there were different owners, and somewhere this shift happens in New Brunswick. I don't know when or where, but it is affecting my life. And like I said, I don't care about the $200, $300. I really don't care. I'm a taxpayer. I really don't care. I have to pay for the extra police or the mobile unit. I'm a taxpayer. That's my money paying for the police officer too. So if he has to put a little extra out, that's his problem because that's what's being drawn to his establishment. And like you said, he's responsible. I'm responsible if somebody walks out of my house, he's responsible for what comes out of there. And they come there drunk with and needs to close to prevent those people from coming there. Like I said, I'm tired of this because I can't even defend it. I'm nice, so I'm going to go along with it. And there's going to be a point where I'm not just going to be so nice. I'll just have to do what I have to do to figure this out. I mean, when did it switch? Giovanelli's was never open this late like this. It never was. I was there when it first opened. So what is going on? How are certain things getting through?
It was over 24 hours.
Sir, you got to talk to me, raise the way to be recognized.
What is
Yes.
it?
From what I hear from her, it's always mentioned Giovanelli.
Sir, we went through this. She lives right
Yeah,
there.
but I live there too. I'm a taxpayer
Do
too.
you live on Connick Street?
Excuse me.
Ma'am.
No.
Excuse me. There is other stores
We know
than
that.
Giovanelli. And if the gentleman mentioned Giovanelli because it's easy to pronounce it to everybody.
It's not. You're going to meet with Detective DeBonis. Thank you. Ma'am, thank you. Anybody else who hasn't spoken? Okay, thanks. Mr. Chairman, anything else?
No, I report back to the council after we had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Habib. And just for the council's benefit and the public's benefit, this is not the end of the inquiry. We started here and we will continue to explore all the possible remedies throughout the entire Eastern Avenue corridor as it affects all of the business establishments.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. That's a good idea.
We're going to move on to ordinances on second reading. ODS 011201, an ordinance to amend and supplement revising ordinance of the city of Brunswick, traffic control loading zone on New Street. Anybody wish to comment on this ordinance? Mr. Crabtree?
Charles Bradwell, Patterson Street. Just want to know exactly where it is and what its purpose is.
Mr. Crabtree?
This is at the corner of New and George on the, actually be the north or the east side of the intersection, that side next to where the construction project is now for the New Street apartment buildings. It's to provide a loading area. It'll be a cut-in in the sidewalk so that any trucks or cars that are parked there don't block the flow of traffic on New Street. Still maintains the adequate sideway width for any trucks they might have for either moving someone into the apartments or a delivery they might have for the retail stores that would go there.
Okay, and is that's temporary for construction or that's permanent?
No, this will be once the construction is complete.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else on this ordinance?
Move the ordinance?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Racine.
Aye. O-011202, Mr. Hamilton, what are you talking about, this resolution, I do or don't need?
We don't have to do the resolution. The resolution is to pick up the crosswalks. I'm talking to Mr. Gold and things, we do not need to spell out the crosswalks here by ordinance, we can do it otherwise. So the ordinance, which now makes 2 temporary taxi stands permanent and sets up 3 other taxi stands, they're, as far as we're concerned, they're ready for adoption by council.
So, O-011202 is an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised ordinance of the city of New Brunswick taxi stands. Anybody wish to comment on this ordinance? Seeing none, move the ordinance.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Racine.
O-011203, an ordinance to amend and supplement revised general ordinance of the city of New Brunswick. Traffic and parking, delete and add handicap parking zones and add a handicap parking space. Delete 1 residential handicap parking zone at 5 Freeman Street and add 1 residential handicap parking zone at 5 Freeman Street. Add 1 residential parking space at 104 Redmond Street. Anybody wish to comment on this ordinance? Seeing none, move the ordinance.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Racine.
Aye. O-011204, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the city of New Brunswick. Department of Police is to set up reestablish the auxiliary police. Anyone wish to comment on this ordinance? Yes, ma'am. Name and address, please.
Amy Bronstein, Harvey Street. What's the application process for the auxiliary police?
Spell that in the ordinance.
I have the ordinance in front of me, which speaks to the criteria for being of an applicant for appointment.
Is it like a letter of interest or there like?
There is a website where you could download the application,
Okay.
and it would give you the requirements, and if you know of anybody, it needs to be done before February 8th,
Yeah, so get the
because
word out.
that's a deadline that, for the first, we're trying to get as many as possible for that day.
And the date's based on the academy dates, so it's not a
Yeah.
random closing at the age, just to get them so they get the training beforehand.
Okay, so
Okay.
February 8th is the
The deadline.
Okay? Anyone else? Mr. Cradville?
Yeah, first I wanted to commend the council for moving ahead with this. It's a good initiative. What is the website to get the format?
I think it's
If you go to the city's website, you click on the police department tab, it'll take you to our website where it's front and center, or you can go right to our website, which is www.nbpdnj.org.
And is any idea how many applications have been received thus far?
Captain, you have anything?
No, I don't.
Anyone else?
Move the ordinance. Move the ordinance.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Racine.
Aye. Ordinances on first reading, O-021201, an ordinance amending ordinance number O-127802, fixing salaries and wages of various employees represented by the Municipal Employees Association and repealing ordinances or parts of ordinances inconsistent therewith for 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2014 collective bargaining agreements.
Move the ordinance setting down February 15th for public hearing, same date to be advertised.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Racine.
Aye. O-021202 has been held at the request of the city attorney. We have resolutions R-021201 through R-021238 and both.
Holding 32 and 38.
Okay, holding 32 and 38. Anyone wish to comment on any of these resolutions? Mr. Mr. Renda?
Charles Renda, Harvey Street. On 218, you're going to really close down Route 27 through the city of New Brunswick for an all-day Saturday?
Yes. It's the westbound side.
The whole
Just
both lanes?
I believe it's just one lane. No, it's both lanes.
Both lanes.
But we will have a detour plan for to get around there. That's why we're doing it on a weekend.
Will there be police at every corner for the detour? That's significant traffic, even on a Saturday morning through Saturday afternoon. There really ought to be, policemen at the corner where it's shut down. The next, I assume they're going to walk Somerset Street and bring it back down Eastern Avenue, which is a busy corridor to begin with.
Are they providing,
Excuse me?
are they providing for police and direct traffic?
Yes, police are always involved in road closures.
The resolution requires a traffic detour plan to be city engineer and police department, item 3 in the resolution.
If you will, Mr. Council President, in the past, what that's meant is a police car parks to block the intersection, and either the policeman's sitting in the car with the lights going, or he's off to the side talking with construction workers or something like that.
It's not supposed to be.
Well, I'm talking about a police presence that actually is directing traffic because it's going to back up. And the other thing is, it's a state highway. Have they gotten state approval for this already?
This is, again, as I mentioned to you today at the traffic commission, this is our jurisdiction, this section of Albany.
Oh, I guess I missed that.
It's our jurisdiction, that section of Albany Street.
Even though it's a state highway for 27?
No, it's a state highway.
As I mentioned at the Traffic Commission meeting this afternoon, I think the city ought to give some consideration to straightening out the mess that is county roads versus city roads versus state roads versus who's responsible for this on county roads or this on city roads. Or there are so many issues where it comes up that, like I spoke with the Traffic Commission about Riders Lane, and it's my recollection that the city council determined that that portion of Riders Lane that comes off of George Street until the intersection of Labor Road or whatever is city responsibility. And I think you even talked about changing the name of it so that emergency calls would be very clear that it was within New Brunswick. The Traffic Commission has determined that that's county, and therefore they have the right, county or state, therefore they have the right to the county to do corrective action on there. And the county's going to kick it back saying it's city. And this occurs, we were talking about it at the Traffic Commission, there are a number of places within the city where that's a real problem.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And I think closing down Route 27, I think, may come as a surprise to state officials who happen to be going down that corridor on that Saturday to find that it's closed and there was no state authority.
Anyone else on any of the resolutions?
Sorry. I have one more, and that was 231. I got a little carried away there, I apologize. Yeah, this is the former Votech property. And apparently you are going to be asking the planning board to consider making that administrative offices because the rental market and the condo market is so poor right now. Is that basically what's involved?
That's basically correct.
Yeah, generally what the plan's calling for.
My questions really have to do with first of all, what administrative offices will be placed there? City, county, state, which specific departments? Why do we need to place them there? We just built a whole new building.
Yeah.
Oh.
The plan hasn't gone before the planning board yet, and it hasn't come before you yet. But what is being proposed is, as Mr. Renda says, for administrative offices. The thinking is it would go to St. Peter's. They could use it there because they have a space shortage there. They would use it for, not for seeing ambulatory care patients, but back office type of facilities, and doctor's office, but not seeing patients there.
Is St. Peter's on board with this?
I hope so. Do you have any ideas?
There have been discussions with St. Peter's, yes.
What will be the cost to the city? Will we have to renovate the building? Will St. Peter's do it? The building's been sitting idle for...
We don't own it.
I understand, it's in private ownership right now. So is there, the current owners of property have proposed a condo or an apartment situation there and it's been sitting for years and years and years. Are they in support of this development plan? Are we doing this development plan outside of their ownership, or are they requesting this, or what's the interaction there?
They've been involved in discussions about how to adapt the plan to do something that would be economically feasible in the current economic climate. So yes, they're involved with it, and I don't expect they will be challenging.
Would this be a more or less permanent situation and obviate the later development into apartments and residences and stay forever administrative offices?
Forever?
Well, for the foreseeable future.
I would say yes for foreseeable future.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Charles Cradle, Patterson Street. Number 13, Micro Strategies Incorporated, providing block time for network support. What exactly does that mean?
Captain, I need that, I'll call the dispatch.
That's for our network, which includes all our recordings, which if they go down, we have serious problems. So any network situation that affects our operations.
Recording 911 call?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. The next one, 14, upgrade sidewalk intersections to meet ADA. Which sidewalks, which intersections?
Do we have those listed or not? Do you have the intersection listed?
Yeah, these are the intersections where we put in the lighted crosswalks for pedestrian and school safety. They're at Redmond and Joyce Kilmer, Delavan and Joyce Kilmer, Rutgers and Joyce Kilmer, Commercial and Comstock, and Van Dyke and White Place.
Moving on, I noticed apparently we're going to be compensating C. Judson Hamlin for his services. Is this $12,500 for a year, for the next 6 months? Is there?
It's an estimate, and it's an estimate that we assume that will cover all of the year, but it will depend upon the demand volume.
It goes up on the council.
Is this based on an hourly rate?
Spell out in the resolution.
Okay. Hoffman Pavilion demolition, that building's going to come down in the next week, beginning now?
That's a housing authority, I don't have any information on that.
The agenda here, it's actually beginning the week of 2/6. We're going to start on Monday. But all the internal demolition has been done. The environmental cleanup has been done on the inside. Come Monday, then they're going to start actually demoing the whole building and hauling it away.
Okay. Any idea how long it's going to take to bring it down?
I do not recall the estimate of time that it would take.
Is there a time frame for the new building going up?
I don't know.
I don't have a timetable for that. Talk to John Clark, he could probably give you an estimate on that. They did come before planning board a year or so ago and did get their site plan approvals.
Okay. With block 448, the VOTEC, is that building going to come down as part of that? My understanding was the plan was actually to level the building and replace it with a very similar building.
I believe it's going to come down as well under this plan.
Okay, is that wise to destroy the building just to build one just like it?
I don't own it, we don't own it, and the owner wants to knock it down, we can knock it down. Whether it's wise or not, I mean, there's not costs, and what it costs to renovate it, and
Has it been approved for the administrative office's use yet?
it's going to the planning board.
It's still hasn't, okay. I know it was pulled, but the deed for the parking authority, what land is that?
Yeah, what this is all about, I got a letter from the parking authority saying that in 1998, when the deck was built, that lot 12 was excluded from the conveyance. When I asked enough questions, it appears that there was no other conveyance by the city. So this is lot 12, where the deck is, and you gotta get them on board with respect to whether there is a consideration for the city or not. And what they sent to me was totally inadequate for us to put this on, and that's why I think we'll be back before the council shortly.
Understood. What deck? Which deck?
It's went into the New Street parking deck.
New Street. I saw the police residency resolution. I fully support it. I commend the council for moving ahead with it. I wanted to know, has anybody had conversations with our state legislators about whether they're willing to introduce this at this time?
I have not. I don't know if anybody else has.
No? Okay, are there any next steps planned, or are you planning to reach out to the state
After
senate?
this will go to the members of the legislature, as it says in the visit.
Yes, I mean, I'm sure a phone call would help too. Perhaps from Councilman Egan.
I spoke about it with my son, and he thinks it's going to be a hard thing to get through the entire list.
But he's willing to introduce it?
Sure. I mean, I think he will use that.
Terrific, that's wonderful news. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Marshall?
Hi, Beverly Marshall, 33 Commercial Avenue. The Hoffman Pavilion, is that the senior building on Nielsen? Okay, if it's going to come down, what's going to be done with the residents living in that area, and how is it, is it going to be imploded?
I don't believe so. Mr. Bull, it's not the imploded, is it?
I'm not 100% sure. I was told the upper floors would be taken down.
No, it's not going to be imploded. It'll be taken at, the top floor is taken down sort of piece by piece, and then cranes once they get lower.
Okay, so the dust from the building, and there's families, 33 Commercial Avenue, the new apartments that was just built around the old senior building. So what's going to be done to protect the families from the dust or whatever else is going to be in that, coming out of that building?
Mr. Patterson, Mr. Bull, what happens on this? Well, I know they spray water to keep the dust down.
I mean, there's environmental regulations. It's not city enforcement that I'm aware of. It would be state DEP or county health department enforcing that. But there are regulations as to what they have to do to hose down the site to keep excessive dust from going in the air and so forth.
Okay, are the residents in the area going to be notified when this happened? Where they can keep their windows closed?
It's a condition of approval for this work,
As a condition of the resolution. Anyone else on any of the resolutions? Yes.
Amy Brunswick, Harvey Street. Would it be possible to get the text of the police residency resolution?
You should have been.
I just saw like a little blurb in the agenda, like.
You ran it.
Oh, ran it. Okay, I'll get it.
No one else, motion on consent agenda? Move the resolution.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Yes.
Council President Racine.
Before we move on, I see Detective Bonus, if you have anything to report.
Yes, I spoke with the owners of Giovanelli's. We didn't really get into discussions about police officers' cost and hours because there was a little roadblock in the beginning. I think Mr. Habib would like to speak. He still doesn't feel that he needs a police officer at his cost, and/or if he did, he would possibly like to defer the cost with other establishments in the area. So we really didn't get anything accomplished as far as hiring a police officer. Also, there is one thing I'd like to just say. I just want to be clear because he mentioned earlier he shut down at 2:30, which may or may not be the case on certain days. On his website, Friday and Saturday, he's open until 5 a.m. and Monday through Thursday, 4 a.m. and Sunday night, 11 to 3. Just so we know, so I'm not even sure which hours we're dealing with.
It's a delivery, sir.
Excuse me?
We're going to agendize this. And if need be, we can make it a condition set by council by ordinance, by resolution that do that extra duty, so. That's where we're gonna go with this. Anyone on council wish to address the public? Anyone from the public wish to address, I'm sorry.
I just want to give a follow-up to the last council meeting when we were talking about the bicycle ordinance and the public awareness campaign. The city will be conducting one within hopefully 2 or 3 weeks. So I just want to make sure that you know that the mayor is in full support and will start one soon.
Anyone from the public wish to address the council? Mr. Crabbe?
Yes, on that same topic, has that ordinance been signed into law by the mayor?
Mr. Hamlin, was it 20 days?
I don't know if it's signed or not, it becomes effective 20 days after it's signed.
I don't know if it's been signed, but
Mayor intend to sign it?
I believe so. I haven't heard anything different.
Okay. I know there was an unfortunate cyclist who perished over the weekend, and I think that the bicycle ordinance is a start, but we really need to work on getting bicycle lanes in the city. And I know I bring this up every meeting, but what's the timeline? When will we know where they're going? Where? When?
I had spoken to you last week and we were discussing a little bit of an update. I know there was a meeting you had recently with some people from Rutgers.
We recently had some meeting with actually the New Jersey Walk Bicycle Coalition, looking at some things that they might be able to do to help in terms of training for bicycle safety and things like that. Also looking at trying to bring someone in, a consultant, to help do the engineering design of some, probably mostly class 3 type bicycle, like the Sharrows and so forth, on some of the parallel streets to some of our main traffic roads, to put some bike lanes in those locations.
I understand, I know your frustration is slow, but we're moving forward.
Thank you. Also, I have to bring up the police-involved shooting last night. Is there any news that you know?
No, you probably know as much as we do. It's under investigation. Unfortunately, not much for me to comment on since I don't know much about it besides what I read in the newspaper. So right now, you probably know as much as I do, if not more.
Are there any plans to hold public forums about?
At this point, I don't know what's going to happen because I don't know what the results of the prosecutor's investigation is going to be.
The new street apartments were brought up. I just want to know if I could get a timeline on sort of when that construction is going to happen, when that building will open.
The new construction going on?
New street, right? I heard new street apartments going out there.
Yeah, they started the construction. Mr. Patterson, correct?
Yeah, they're under construction.
Any idea when they'll be finished? When they'll be open?
Timeline?
I don't recall the exact timeline, but I imagine about 10 to 12 months from now.
It used to be 2012, so I don't know if it, but they have some delays.
Yeah, they're underway, and a project like that normally takes around 10 to 12 months, so probably towards the end of the year.
Okay, and just refresh my memory, what's going to be in that project? It's going to be apartments, retail on the ground floor, is there parking?
The parking for the project is across the street in the Morris Street deck. That's the way that deck was designed to accommodate the 3 projects that are on that, the corner of Rockoff, the Heldridge, and this project. This project will have, I believe it's about 4,500 square feet of retail on the ground floor, and then 104 rental units above that, 20% of which will be affordable units.
Okay, this is a private project, or is this city money?
It's a privately owned project. The city is contributing some of its regional contribution agreement and home dollars to help subsidize the affordable units.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll adjourn.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Lucy.
Aye. truck